Hi, I'm Victor. I used to work on the Flutter team. Now I'm the founder of Serverpod. Today I will talk about what's new in Serverpod 2.0 and I have some exciting news to share. For those who haven't heard about Serverpod before, I'll start with a quick intro to what we're building. Like you, I'm an app developer and I love what Flutter has done for us. With Serverpod, we're bringing the same experience but to the server side. Serverpod is an open source, scalable app server written in Dart for the Flutter community. It allows you to use Dart across your whole stack, but why would you want to run Dart on the backend? Maybe you're just a Dart lover like us, but it also adds some other great benefits, such as sharing code between your server and your app. If you're a Flutter developer, you feel right at home and you won't need to make those context switches between different languages. If you're a company, that means getting more things done with fewer resources. In Serverpod, we added some really cool, innovative features, like world-class logging. Regardless of whether you're testing things locally on your computer or in production in the cloud, you can get logs straight out from Serverpod in a visual interface. We also built a revolutionary ORM, so talking with your database is super easy with Serverpod. You use native Dart types and null safety, and you can even take a row from the database, pull it right out and send it right to your client. It just works. One of the core things we're focusing on is making Serverpod really scalable and performant, and caching comes in here. You can cache objects either locally on your server or across a cluster of servers. We really have nice APIs for that. In Serverpod, we built something that works almost like magic. You write your methods on the server and Serverpod will analyze your server code and automatically build your client-side APIs. So when you call a method on the server, it's just as easy as a local method in your app. We're still using best practices when it comes to serialization with JSON and REST APIs, or WebSockets if you stream data. In addition, we covered all the essentials that you need when you're building pretty much any sort of app. We do file uploads, you can upload your files straight to Google Cloud Storage, or you can even send binary data through a method call to the server. We support authentication with Google, Apple, Firebase, and email. With Firebase, you can obviously get pretty much any social login. Streaming connections allow you to pass objects to the server in real time. This is great if you are, say, building a game, a chat application, or any type of real-time communication. We built a feature called Future Calls, which allows you to execute a method sometime in the future. So say that you have a user signing up for your service. You want to remind them 1 week from now by sending them an email. You can do a future call in Serverpod and it will be serialized to the database. Even if your server restarts, Serverpod will just figure it out and make sure that that email gets sent. Serverpod also does health checks while it's running, so you can monitor CPU and memory performance. You can even add custom health checks to your app that you can follow through the graphical interface. When it comes to deployment, we made it super easy to deploy your server to Google Cloud. We've written detailed guides and even made Terraform scripts to set up your complete infrastructure. So how does all this work? Let's look at some code. To start a new Serverpod project, you run Serverpod create. Here we're creating a project called MyPod. Serverpod will set up everything you need to get started. It will create a server, a Flutter app, and a client package. The client package contains the code for communicating with your server. If we look at the server, we'll find two important directories, an Endpoints directory and a model directory. In the Endpoints directory, you place your server's endpoints. You can add methods to your endpoints and Serverpod will automatically generate the corresponding methods in your client. In the models directory, you place your model definition files. You write the model definitions in very simple YAML, and Serverpod will generate the Dart code, including serialization and mappings to the database. The generated models will be available on both the client and the server. Whenever you change your code in either the endpoints or the models directory, you will need to regenerate the classes managed by Serverpod. You do that by running Serverpod generate in your server directory. You can also pass the watch flag to Serverpod generate to continuously generate files whenever you edit your models or your endpoints. Let's talk about those endpoints. Endpoints are the connection points to the server from the client. With Serverpod, you add methods to your endpoint, and the corresponding client code will be automatically generated. Serverpod builds a well-formed REST API for you, but you will never need to touch the code. The server methods you add to the endpoint must return a typed future, and the first parameter must be a session object. The session object holds information about the call being made and provides access to the database, caching, and other Serverpod features. This is an example of an endpoint called example. It's good practice to include the endpoint suffix in the name of your endpoint, but the code generator will remove it, and you will refer to the endpoint as just example. The endpoint contains a single method called hello. Note that it returns a typed future and that its first parameter is the session object. This will tell Serverpod that this method should be included as part of our API and in our generated. Whenever we change the code in the endpoint, we must run Serverpod generate to update our generated code. After you run Serverpod generate, we can call the server method from our Flutter app, just as if it was a local method. In this example, we access the hello method of the example endpoint, pass it a string, and then wait for the result. The result will be hello world. Easy as that. Now, let's look at how we can create data models and serialize data. Serverpod defines models in YAML files and then generates Dart classes from them. Place your models in the models directory, then run Serverpod generate to make the models accessible to the client and the server. This is a simple example of a YAML file defining a model. Serverpod supports serialization of most basic Dart types, including booleans, integers, doubles, strings, datetimes, and byte data. You can also add lists and maps. If you add a list or a map, it must be typed with a type supported by Serverpod. Null safety is also supported. Once your models are generated, you can use them as parameters or return types in your endpoint methods. You can also use other models as types in your model file. This works for maps and lists too. The cool part with the model files is that they are very quick to write and easy to read. But there will be loads of Dart code generated that you don't need to care too much about. This is how your model shows up in your code. It's just like any Dart class. It has a constructor with all the fields specified in your model. Non-nullable fields are required and nullable ones are optional. You can access the fields as properties, just like you would expect, but you also have access to a copy with method and other things. What is really sweet about the model files is that they can be mapped to the database using Serverpod's Object Relation Mapping, or ORM. This makes it easy to store and retrieve objects. Just add table keyword to your model file to bind a model to the database. The value of the table key is the name of the database table. For this to work, we must add our table to a database. Thanks to the database migrations, it's easy to do with Serverpod. That's the basics of Serverpod, but today I'll talk about all the things that we're adding to version 2.0, codenamed Dreamscape. So, what is the most requested feature for Serverpod? Well, interestingly enough, it's actually not a feature, but being able to remove features. Many of you have asked us to make a simpler version of Serverpod without the need for a database or running a Docker container. As part of version 2.0 Dreamscape, we're introducing Serverpod Mini. Serverpod Mini is the lightweight version of Serverpod without all the bells and whistles. It's super easy to set up and run, and you can very easily deploy it to Google Cloud Run. To create your Serverpod Mini project, just add the Mini flag to Serverpod Create. After creating your Mini project, you have a way to generate your whole API. You don't need to worry about serialization or parsing data. And even if you start out with Mini, you can upgrade to full Serverpod at any time by just running a single command. Serverpod Mini is great if you quickly want to provide an API for your server, if you want to build a bridge to another service, or if you want to use a database other than Postgres. Next, let's talk about database relations and migrations. These are two huge new features. From the 1.0 release, we have rethought the database interactions from the ground up. Imagine handling complex relationships in your database with the simplicity of type-safe Dart code. We now handle one-to-one, many-to-one and many-to-many relations. Your models fit right into the rest of the Serverpod ecosystem with caching, streaming and serialization. We have also added support for handling database migrations. On startup, we check the integrity of your database. When you add or modify your database models, we automatically provide a migration path, complete with SQL queries. Next, we have supercharged our tooling. Serverpod already comes with Insights, our companion app for viewing logs and monitoring health metrics. It even lets you modify the settings of your server when it's running. But with Serverpod 2.0 Dreamscape, we're taking our tooling to the next level. We have vastly improved our command line interface. It will give you better error messages if something goes wrong and provide correct exit codes, which helps with continuous integration and other automated workflows. We have created a VS Code extension, which uses our new language server to provide real-time feedback when building your data models. Our philosophy at Serverpod is to break as few things as possible for our developers. Most of the changes we have made are to interfaces that are not commonly used, so updating to version 2.0 should be a smooth ride for everyone. We now have over 3,000 automated tests to ensure everything is super stable. The tests will also make it faster for us to continue building new features and make it easier for contributors from the community. Speaking of new features, many of the changes we have made to Dreamscape will allow us to add features throughout the year without breaking anything. We are planning improvements in authentication, streaming data, our built-in web server, and much more. We are also very excited about the coming macros in Dart, which we think can make Serverpod even easier to use and open up new possibilities for serialization and talking with the database. As you have seen, Serverpod 2.0 Dreamscape is more than an update. It's a new chapter and a leap forward for Dart on the backend. Still, this is just the beginning. We have so many cool features in the pipeline and we will continue to give you frequent releases throughout the year. That being said, I have one more thing for you today. Oh, I always wanted to say that. For the past months, we have been working on something. One pain point we have seen for the thousands of developers using Serverpod today is that deploying your server to the cloud is still tricky. Even though we have created Terraform scripts to set up the infrastructure and provide detailed guides for getting your server up on Google Cloud, many developers do not want to deal with this. Today, we are announcing Serverpod Cloud. Serverpod Cloud will make it super easy to deploy your server. And we don't just host your server, we set up a complete infrastructure with load balancers, a scalable database, storage for file uploads, caching, inter-server communication, and secure storage of passwords. To deploy your server, all you have to do is run the Serverpod Cloud deploy command. You will have your complete server infrastructure up in just a few minutes. Our mission at Serverpod is to make building your backend as easy as possible without imposing any limitations. Therefore, you can deploy your servers to multiple regions, ensuring that your users have the shortest possible response time. Unlike other similar services, your server can also contain a state. This is a game changer for applications with lots of real-time communication, as it can drastically improve performance and cut costs. The best part? Since we're doing this at scale, we'll not only greatly simplify the process of setting up your server, but we will also be able to offer all this at a lower price point than if you would host the infrastructure yourself on Google Cloud or AWS. Serverpod Cloud will be available this fall, but we will start public beta testing this summer. So if you start building your app with Serverpod now, we can host it when it's done. To get into our beta program, make sure to follow us on social media. We will announce it soon. That's what I had for you today. I can't wait to see what you will build with Serverpod. Thanks for joining us today and happy coding!